Hey, welcome back. So we are back for another episode. Wednesdays just keep getting better. I don't know about y'all, but remember when they used to have TGIT with ABC and How to Get Away with Murder and Scandal used to come on? I'm feeling like this is TGIW, where we get together on Wednesdays, we talk these contracts, big money moves, and really stepping out into our expertise in the areas that need us, our voices, our expertise, and our processes that we've developed over years in our experience. So I'm all about helping the real experts get in position to land some crazy, amazing opportunities and people who understand their worth and they're ready to go and get it. So I already jumped into like why we get here every week, but this is what we do. This is what we talk about. We talk about how do we transform the services that we provide, all this amazing work that we've been doing into some high value contracts, into opportunities where we get to not only serve our audiences on social media, but we get to serve people inside of government entities, inside of corporations, inside of the entertainment industry, like getting to take our expertise and just take these industries by storm and transform them is like what I'm all about. When I see this vision of why I do this work and why I want more of us to get in this space, I just see us elevating and getting territory and having influence and having expertise and being at the decision making tables. So it's more than just contracts and money, but it's about really shifting some things and ways of doing things, and also helping companies be able to get up to the times and the things that we know and do and we build our expertise around. So all right. Y'all know I got to reel it back in. So, if this is your first time here, you already know my name because you can read. You're smart, but it's pronounced Kirsten Allen. And I am a corporate contract strategist and a leadership and development coach for corporations, government entities, educational institutions, as well as getting into the sports and entertainment arena. And in both of those, really, my goal is to help, whether it's working with my entrepreneurial clients or with my corporate clients, is helping them be able to remove roadblocks to achieve the success that they have as a part of their vision or organizational vision. I'm going to get a tissue. Hold on one second. Can't be doing that. Hold on. Coming back. Whoever is there, thank you for staying on. All right. Yes, thank you. Sorry, I had to go grab tissue. But yeah, so the work that I do is to help people remove roadblocks so that they can achieve a level of self-leadership, self-mastery, and be able to achieve their own corporate goals or organizational goals if they are within a company. So both sides align, I promise. But here on this space, particularly, I speak every week on Wednesdays on topics around how to land more corporate contracts in your business. And so today we're going to talk about niching. And I like this topic because with a lot of what I share when it relates to corporate contracts, it's actually more intuitive, more ease and flow on the side of corporate in terms of marketing and sales and all the things. There is not a whole lot of fluff or, got to put things in this one little tight little bow in order to make a sale. That's not the flow of corporate contracts or corporate entities in general. And I'm going to break that down to you to make this easy for you. One of the things that I love to hear people say when they come to my training or my clients is that I break things down and make it easy for them to be able to do it. Because some people may feel like, I don't have time to do this, or, this is going to take away so much for me to be able to set myself up or promote myself in this way. Honestly, you guys, you could make a connection today and move a corporate contract opportunity forward. They don't have to see your niche statement, your one-liner, any of that stuff. Focus on the expertise. So with that being said, the whole question about niching and not niching is really not a question. The answer or the guidance that I would suggest as being someone who's experienced in this space is that the broader that you can be, actually, the better, right? And what I tell people is to focus on niching by your expertise. What is your expertise? Not what is your program title, what is the outcome of the program, and all of that stuff. First, let's focus on what that that is. So is it sales? Is it marketing? Is it leadership? Is it finance and accounting? Is it writing? Is it speaking? Whatever it is, right? Start with that. And when you focus on niching by your expertise, this is the part that what I love to do with clients is that you can really start to brainstorm what areas within your overall expertise, who is the best person that can be served by that. And this is when you can get super, super creative. I may have told you guys this example before, but something that came to me recently. Every now and then, past opportunities come up to me or past experiences come up to me, and I'm like, oh, this was, how this played out. And this is why I get to strategize with my clients, because I've been through so many different iterations of corporate training, opportunity, sales training, all these different things. So I participated or I was selected for, voluntold, whatever we want to call it, into a training when I was in my sales career. And the training was actually hosted by someone who was a newscaster. And she had taken her experience, being on TV, doing news, and taken that into her own consulting business. Now, some people may say, okay, I'm a newscaster, so that means if I'm going to go out and create a business, I need to go and work with other newscasters or in the news business. But here's what this lady did. She packaged up her services as learning how to be a better presenter on camera, and packaged that up and sold it to traditional corporations, presented it to sales teams, because they have, as sellers, we have to do a whole lot of presentations. Obviously, it's a daily thing in order to bring money into the business. And so she developed this skill. So you see how she didn't just look at it as, well, I'm a newscaster, so it has to be around news. She looked at, what are the skill sets that I developed as a newscaster? One main one is how to present myself and how to carry on a conversation and be able to be on camera, and all the things that go along with that, your tone, your engagement, your gestures, all of the things. And then she said, okay, that's the skill set. Now, who are all the people that could benefit from that? Salespeople is just one. Right. And now with our virtual world and more people having to do virtual presentations, there could be so many avenues, which I think we did this before. Yeah, it was before the pandemic. So I'm sure her stuff picked up as the pandemic kicked off, because virtual presentations was what we all went to. And so being able to think about that not only creates one opportunity in this space, like I was alluding to, but you can start to think, who else has to do presentations online, or who else is on camera and needs to be able to have that training? Who else is doing, not even on camera, but live presentations, interviewing, right? Or, doing big main stage presentations. All of the skill sets that she leveraged to be successful in that role, she can now take it and look at who would be most served by that. So that gives you greater opportunity to do business in corporations, and also be able to create some consistency, because not every corporation, not every industry is going to have a need for your particular service at a specific time. So it's important, as you are looking to especially build a good foundation, that you are casting your net wide in terms of who could be a good fit, instead of just pigeonholing yourself and saying, well, if I'm a teacher and I'm deciding to start my own business, I'm going to help other teachers be able to, lead better lessons in the classroom. You could do that, but who else needs to be able to teach and guide people along a curriculum or a journey to be successful in their roles? Their managers, right? Also have to do similar things. So in that example, you want to start thinking about, okay, maybe the school system might not have my money or might not have the opportunity to do this at the level that I desire. However, corporations have it, government entities have it. So how can I take this same skill set and go over to those people as well, and begin to build relationships that expand into more opportunities? So niche to the experience, the expertise, and then allow that to influence what type of industries, what type of end users could be I call them end users because I was in technology, but who are the people who are actually going to consume whatever it is that you put out in your services? So yes, the HR person may be the person who buys or contracts you, but you're serving the employees. The principal may be the person that's the decision maker, but you'll be serving the students or the staff. End user, little industry word. So that's the way that you want to think about niching. And this is important too, because different from, and I actually heard someone say this in a government contracting seminar workshop that I was in. He said, when we're working with consumers, we want to niche down because that's very specific and it helps us be found. And, it's really simple for people to know what we do. However, he said in the government side, the more you can do, when they like you, they want to see what else you can do. And I was like, yeah, that's actually true in the corporate space as well. The things that you can do in excellence, they want to figure out what else you can do and how else they can work with you. And so, and also we'll talk to this point in a second. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. So building that relationship, number one, by doing great work, and then being able to figure out, well, hey, you brought me in to do, let's see, you brought me in to do some mindset work with your employees to help them as they are facing different challenges in their day-to-day work. But I also noticed, that not only do they need some training, but some of them could use some additional coaching, right? So that is something else that I can do and help, them be able to remove stress and burnout roadblocks from their everyday work as well. Like finding different opportunities to continue to support once you get in with people, but also thinking about, again, who else could use this other than this particular audience, or other than the obvious audience that we might think of when I gave you my example of the newscaster. Creativity will spark different opportunities in different places, and that will land with the industries or the companies that you are meant to work with. And so after, so that point on, creating those relationships and then wanting to really understand what else that you can do for them. Also, another piece of this niching that you want to think about to help you get more opportunities is, and it just escaped me. So I'm gonna circle back while I'm thinking of it. So the first point that we started off with is with niching is thinking about the expertise and then focusing on how many different audiences could be served by that. Like if you do that process alone, you should have more than enough companies, leads that you could pursue than a little bit. So people who are saying they don't have any leads or they don't know where to go, people aren't responding, there are more than enough opportunities to speak with people that are corporate decision makers in the areas that you provide. More than enough. I 100% stand on that. If you follow what I'm saying about niching, you should have an endless amount of companies that you can start reaching out to and start getting conversations going. You should have more leads than you can handle. The major roadblock in this process that I find with people is that it does take time. It does take a commitment. It takes being able to reach out to people, being able to do follow-ups, because sometimes they might not respond on the first message or the first email. So keeping the process going is probably the major thing that I see with people, and keeping that momentum going. And so especially if you're starting out, that's one thing to really keep in mind, that the momentum, the following up, the reaching out, the continuing to look at ways that you can tie into what these organizations are already doing. What are they prioritizing? What are they talking about on LinkedIn or on their website? And how you can tie that directly to the work that you do. It takes some diligence. It takes some thinking out of the box and being creative. It's not just here's a script, put this up on, a site and get all these contracts in the door. If you truly want to get some value contracts at a level that is, the 5 and 6 figure level, it's going to be imperative for you to be a strategic thinking partner or strategic consulting partner with corporations that you want to partner with. And that's my last point. Corporations are really looking for customized solutions. They're not looking to drop their employees into a program that you've built and delivered, for how many ever years, and you've just walked people through the same process. While that could be definitely possible, generally speaking, most corporations, they all feel that they have some special sauce, some unique ad, or something specific that they want to have addressed. So when we're talking about the niching conversation in that respect, you also want to make sure that you're flexible enough as an expert to be able to craft or curate an experience or a service that meets the needs of the corporations. None of this, letting everything that they're saying go over your head and you saying, well, hey, here's what I, want to sell you. Co-creation is the name of the game. I spoke about this last week. Co-creation, and that doesn't mean creating something, that you can't deliver on, or that's going to, take you far outside of your expertise or cause too many hours of work or things of that nature. No, it could actually be stripping down some things, right? Maybe they don't need to focus on your entire framework, but they'll gladly pay you $25K to just focus on one particular area because that's the burning need for them. So that's what I mean about the co-creation process, and to really present yourself again as that expert, as that partner, to help them come up with what's the best solution for the problems at hand that they describe to you. You do that, and again, you open yourself up for more opportunities, not just as a service provider, not just as a vendor, but again, a thought partner, a creative consultant, to where if they have an issue in this same area, they're going to come back to you and say, hey, Jessica, hey, Kirsten, you did great work on this. Here's another issue that we're having. Do you have any expertise or understanding on how we can address this? Yeah, you worked with us. I'm going to speak from my lens. You worked with us with our middle management or our emerging leaders, and you did some individual coaching with them. We're starting a brand new entry-level program, entry-level leadership program, and we're looking for some support to be able to help them as they're establishing their leadership style and getting ingrained into the organization. What do you think about doing something like that with this audience? Absolutely. If it's leadership that is my expertise, leadership is leadership. No matter who the audience is, I can easily tweak some of my content or, the way that I speak if I'm doing a live presentation to directly relate to the audience that I'm speaking to. But honestly, the concepts are always the same. And I'll give one quick example in this area for a contract that I recently did, well, actually earlier this year. And it was for a public health institution that provided learning and development training courses, workforce development training courses around career, some leadership things that in the public health space. And so what I was contracted to do was to create 2 courses, one for new people, new graduates getting into the public health space and how to navigate their career, and also for established leaders that want to figure out how to navigate and expand their career. So in both of those, I talked about the same processes and frameworks around career development, around leadership that I have developed over my entire career. I talked about, being able to build out a network, getting a mentor, your spheres of influence. I talked about resumes, LinkedIn, all the things. All I did to tailor this for this particular organization is I looked more in depth to public health. I got myself up to speed in terms of what's going on right now and what things, they focus on. And I just put that light into the expertise, into the experiences that I've already developed, into the frameworks that I've already developed. And so that opportunity is a great example of how taking exactly what you already have. And if someone comes and says like, hey, we're looking for someone in this particular area, is this something that you could do? Absolutely, because the principles are the same. All I'm doing is putting a different lens on it. And so in that example, that will also help you open up to new opportunities and be able to niche up. So that's what I mean by really expanding not necessarily your expertise or going outside of that, but really looking at who can be served by it. with a quick switch or with a quick lens, especially if you're teaching live. That's super easy, right? To be able to say, okay, I'm teaching in front of a group of real estate investors. So I just need to understand what's going on in real estate, understand what it's like to be in that role. But if I'm talking about career development, I'm going to essentially be talking about the same steps and same frameworks. It's just the end result where they're getting to that's going to be a little bit different. So, but they're going to use the same steps. So I hope that makes sense in terms of, how you can actually get opportunities or be a partner with organizations where you can deliver your expertise for the audience where they have a need. Go and meet the need as much as you can, meet the needs that they have. And the final point of that, I'll say, is in order to be in that position when you're doing your pitching, which I don't like that word because you don't pitch anything until you actually have a conversation and further down the line. But let's say, when you have that introductory conversation or you do that first outreach, your goal is to invite them to a conversation where you can begin some of this co-creation. It is not to get them to buy your thing off the shelf. That's what we would say. To get them to buy your thing off the shelf. So it's no need for you to be able to send them an email or give them a phone call and be sending over, documents and one pagers with, all of these different things before you've even had a conversation with them. Sometimes that can shut the door before they even open it. Because if they see something that doesn't really resonate, they probably won't respond or feel like, oh, I don't need this, so let me move on. When in fact, if you invited them to have a conversation, maybe there is something that they uncover that actually does have a connection to your expertise and is something that you can provide. So I can't stress this enough. I probably talk about it every week at this point. When you're doing outreach to corporate decision makers, always invite them to have a conversation with you and take that conversation to ask different questions in that conversation to uncover what are their needs, what is challenging them right now, what's keeping them up at night, what are they currently responsible for that they want to continue to drive in their organization, and how are they looking for partners to be able to help them to do that. And based on that information, then you can go and start putting together your proposals. You can start, thinking about what those service offerings will look like and be able to put a full picture in front of them that not only gets them, their attention, but gets them moving forward and saying yes. Why? Because you put your listening ears on and you put your pitching and your salesy skills, which are good. The thing about sales is it's not just about getting people to buy stuff. There is a consultative sales approach where you actually are showing yourself as a partner. And it just so happens that based on our conversation, just so happens that I have a solution for you that addresses all the needs that you shared with me. And so the more you can get people talking and sharing about what it is that there is important to them, then you kind of are getting ammo in the back, and like you're putting together things, in your head in the back end to be able to essentially give them exactly what they shared with you. That is probably the strongest point of B2B sales that I learned over my entire career, is to really position yourself as a consultative partner. That's how you get more sales. That's how you win in corporate. Not trying to give them a box, but providing customized solutions that address their needs. Number one, highest tip. All right, so let's wrap this up. We talked about so much today, but essentially we talked about overall with niching in corporate, it's more so about providing solutions. It's about looking at your expertise and figuring out who else can be a benefit from it. It's about really sitting down and saying, once I get into these organizations, how else can I solve their problems? How can I build better relationships to where not only do I get a contract one time, but they're coming back and asking me to come and consult or provide different services based upon their understanding of my expertise and not necessarily their understanding of my price list or my package list. That's not the way to go. And I wouldn't even send over a price list to anyone anyway, except in rare situations. It's always a caveat to everything, but that's another tip in terms of your outreach. I wouldn't send a price list or anything that really relates to that, because Any solution that you provide really should be customized, and you would have to have that conversation to do that effectively. So I would steer away from doing that. Even if it's asked, that's kind of like a last, ditch effort. Like, let's at least have a quick conversation so I know kind of where to guide you instead of just sending you a blanket price list or sending you to my website, which that's basically giving you a chance to just go around and look at everything instead of giving someone a really tailored approach. It's all about the experience. All right. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know your greatest takeaway because I think this was really good. I feel like this was really good. So let me know your greatest takeaways in the comments. And as usual, this is the end of the training. But if you would like to stay on to hear more about opportunities to work with me, I always take a few minutes to share that, which we're going to move into now. But if you're not going to move into that part with me, we will be back here next Wednesday with another amazing topic. So definitely stay tuned and check me out next week. Now, if you're like, this is great, Kirsten, I definitely want to be able to build these relationships. I want to go after some of these big contracts. I want to be able to figure out what ways I could take my expertise and go into different audiences, which is one of my superpowers. Figuring that out and one of the parts that I love about the work that I get to do. And I want some support. And if you're thinking I want some support in that area, I definitely want to give you the opportunity to work with me and my company to support you in that. And so here's what that will look like. Currently, how we work with clients is in our VIP Day Sprint, which I'm super excited about. Some clients have already gone through it, and we're having an amazing summer of VIP Day Sprint. So if you want to join us, I'm going to tell you more about it quickly and then give you the opportunity to be able to learn more with me after this. And so the VIP Day Sprint is a 90-day experience that starts off with a VIP Day. And during that VIP Day, we cover 3 main things to get you corporate contract ready. That first thing is your offer. So we go in, I ask you about your expertise. I pretty much interview you to divulge all the things so that I can be able to give you some suggestions or directions in terms of audiences that may be a good fit for your expertise. Also based upon your revenue goals that you want to achieve and the package prices that you want to be at. So that's the first stage. The next stage that we go through is your marketing. So we talked in the beginning, some people, feel like, where do I get leads? I don't know where they are. They're everywhere, right? So there are many different tactics and tools that I deploy to help clients be able to generate leads. One of the best ones by far is LinkedIn, to be able to figure out what matters to these organizations, who are the decision makers, and even begin that outreach conversation that you would quickly turn into a phone call or email. But LinkedIn, hands down, is one of my favorite tools that I use for this marketing piece. So I help clients be able to install a repeatable system that they can use whenever they're ready to get more corporate contracts in the door. They can go ahead and, deploy this system and be able to, and by system, I mean a process, in order to simplify getting leads into their business and getting discovery calls booked on their calendar. That's phase 2. Phase 3 is about the sales part. So it's one thing to have, an awakening moment about all the ways that you could serve corporations, government, schools, all the things. And then it's another thing to be able to market and find leads. And then it's another thing that once you get them on a phone call, how are you going to be able to navigate this conversation in the way that I shared with you? Asking the right questions, being sure to present yourself as a thought partner, a co-creator, an expert in your own right, and guiding them to essentially selling themselves into your solution by asking the right questions and making sure that on the back end, you understand how doing business with corporate works. That involves procurement and invoicing and the actual contract. We don't talk about that as much, but that is also an important piece where we leverage people like the amazing attorneys in my network or attorneys that you may have in your business to help you review those contracts to make sure your intellectual property is safe, your business is safe, your assets are safe, all of the things, because corporations will typically have standard contracts that they want you to sign that sometimes can be a little advantageous to them. So you want to make sure that you have that piece very clear. And that is something that I help clients be able to find the right guidance in this sales piece. And again, create a system that they can repeat over and over again as they get clients that they're ready to close into their services. So we do all of that. I know it sounds like a lot, but trust me, I break it down, make it very simple, but I do it in that way because I want you to be able to leave the VIP day ready to execute, like ready to go. I want people in this particular experience who execute and who take information and don't sit on it. And so the VIP day experience for you is definitely going to be an opportunity for those who are in that mindset and ready to take action. You're already solid on your expertise and what you have to offer. Now you just need the corporate process to be able to implement and take it and run. Okay. So that's the first phase, but it doesn't stop there, because as you probably all know, getting the opportunity, knowing the process and getting the opportunity is, again, another step. So I continue to give clients support over 90 days after the VIP day, where they can book calls with me. We do Voxer. I can review their sales calls. I can look at their offers. I can help them in any way to be able to adjust the process to get more results and maximize their efforts. And I do that piece because I don't just want to give you the process. I want to see it through with you. I want you to be getting those contracts and calls booked on your calendar. And so I give you that additional support with me so I can be able to guide you in that arena and be more of your coach. So the first part is me as a strategist and giving you the processes. And then those 90 days will be for me to coach you and help you iterate along the way. And so that's what the VIP day sprint looks like. You see Jessica here in the comments. She's already signed up for a VIP day in June. We had one that was amazing in May with another amazing client, Lisa. So people are getting it, and I'm super excited to be able to work with you guys in this area. So if you are interested in taking part in our VIP day sprint and grabbing one of these spots before summer is over, because here's one thing, this is a good time to get the foundation laid, because most times, although business is still being done in the summer, corporate people take vacations, right? We got 4th of July coming up, kids out of school, all the things. So this is a good time to be able to get those foundations in place so that as things begin to pick up, you're already ready to go in terms of your marketing, your sales, your offer, all that stuff is already good to go so that you can start this outreach process and get it going right in time when things begin to pick up again. So summertime, perfect time to get this done and to also still get some opportunities in the door as budgets open up July 1st for a lot of organizations and governments. So if this is something that you're interested in, number one, you got to be an executor. Don't sit on information. We're not information hoarding. We're not, overthinking. We're ready to execute. You can take information given to you in a day, a simplified process that I will deliver to you and you will have after the VIP day. You can take that and run with it. And then you know how to get support when you need it. You're self-led, self-accountable, and ultimately you're ready to get these contracts in the door and understand that the activity or the funds are going to be in you continuing in the process, in you reaching out, in you following up, in you doing the things that I'm telling you to do, or look at different insights that I may be sharing with you and opportunities that could be beneficial for the services that you provide. So if that's you have expertise, you have the ability to execute, and you're ready to land, contracts starting at $5,000, $10,000, $25,000. We're not talking about any type of low dollar contracts. Corporations, that doesn't work. So we got to definitely be at a certain price point for our services as well. So that's another piece of criteria. So that's what I'll basically be checking in with you if you are interested. I want you to send me a DM with the letters VIP. If you want to see if you qualify for the VIP day, I'll ask you those same questions that I just shared, answer any questions that you have, and then give you the link to be able to book your day. I'm super excited to be able to chat with you more about it if you are interested and serious about moving forward in the corporate contract space. And that's it. So DM me VIP. I'll ask you those questions, see if you qualify. And then right now, I believe we have one more spot available for June, and then we'll be booking for the rest of the months from there and doing a wait list. All right. So I look forward to speaking with you all soon. And then we will be back here next week for our next topic, which I'm super excited about. And you guys be good until then. All right. Talk to y'all soon.